A fitness center wants to estimate the mean amount of hours that its members spend exercising each week. They want the estimate to be within a margin of error of a half of an hour at a 97% level of confidence. Previous data suggests that the standard deviation is 1 8/10 hours. What is the smallest sample size that meets these criteria? Well, let's start with identifying key pieces of information, with the first one being the 97% level of confidence. So the confidence level is equal to 97% in this problem. We are also told that the standard deviation is 1 8/10 hours. So our standard deviation, or lowercase sigma, is equal to 1.8. And we're told also that the margin of error is a half of an hour. Margin of error equals a half of an hour. We need to determine our n value, and we also need to look up or research to figure out our critical value z star. So let's start there. We want a 97% level of confidence. So if we look this up online, we can see for a confidence level of 97%, the z-score is about 2 17/100. So that's what we're going to write down for our z-star value, 2 17/100. Now we have all of the required information to solve for n, because our margin of error formula, or our margin of error, must be greater than or equal to the critical value z-star times the standard deviation divided by the square root of n. So our margin of error is a half of an hour. So let's substitute that in. That's got to be greater than or equal to 2 17/100 times 1 8/10 divided by the square root of n. We don't know what n is. All right, so we can multiply both sides by the square root of n to get it on the left, and we can divide both sides by 1/2 to get it over to the right. So we'll have that the square root of n is greater than or equal to 2 17/100 times 1 8/10 divided by 5/10, or 1/2. Well, we could multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10, and we would get that the square root of n is greater than or equal to 2 17/100 times 18/5. And then if we square both sides, we will end up getting rid of the square root. And then if we evaluate this in a calculator, we would get 61 and about 3/100. And since 61 and 3/100 is very, very, very close to 61, we can round down to 61 as our minimum sample, or answer choice D.